U.S. President Donald Trump has praised a ruling by the Supreme Court that limits the ability of federal judges to block presidential orders nationwide. The decision relates to Trump's efforts to end automatic citizenship for all babies born on American soil. Democrats are calling the ruling a dangerous step toward authoritarianism.
America's highest court has just handed the US president more power and judges less. The 6 conservative Supreme Court justices voted against the 3 liberals to stop lower court judges from blocking presidential orders nationwide if a policy was challenged in one state. The Supreme Court decision was related to a case about birthright citizenship. That's a law that grants all babies born on US soil American citizenship, whether their parents are citizens or not. It's one of the many laws that Donald Trump has sought to change using executive orders.
This was a tremendous win. So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people.
The Supreme Court's decision takes effect in 30 days, and it has forced civil liberties groups and organizations representing immigrants to change their strategy.
Nothing in the majority opinion suggests in any way that the president's executive order is legal, and it is not. What the Supreme Court's decision means is that we have to get that order struck down using different procedures. That's it. But now, instead of getting a universal injunction, what we have to do is proceed through a class action mechanism.
Democrat officials and lawmakers have vowed to fight on. Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of Democrats in the US House of Representatives, posted on social media. "We will never surrender in the battle to protect birthright citizenship." But advocacy groups now have one legal weapon less in the fight against Trump's expanding executive powers.
Right. We're joined now in the studio by Sebastian Jobs, a history professor at the John F. Kennedy Institute for North America Studies here in Berlin. Hello. So, thanks a lot for your time. So how much more powerful is President Trump now after the Supreme Court's decision?
Well, yesterday's decision has drastically limited the judiciary's power to rein in the president's decisions and to control him. And it comes on top of another Supreme Court decision last year, Trump versus United States, that has established a very vast and very broad understanding of the immunity of president's power when he acts in official capacity. And even more importantly, I think the current Republican Congress is unwilling to take its control and its checks and balances power. And that's very important that they basically give him a free pass of whatever he wants to do.
Right, you say a free pass. So are there any limits to this power, or is it just a free pass throughout?
Well, the judiciary system in the United States is a very complex system. We have the Supreme Court, but we have district courts and federal courts, and we have local courts and local judges. And all of them, they can comment upon certain aspects of legislation and executive power. So it's not a free pass per se, but it has dramatically increased his ability for his vast power.
Right. So birthright citizenship is a long-standing U.S. right? People never expected that would actually be in question now. So why is it being questioned now?
Well, I think in order to understand why it is so important, we need to I'm a historian, so for me, I see it against the historical backdrop and dates back to the 1860s, to the end of slavery. And it established citizenship rights for formerly enslaved people who were born in the United States but not as citizens. So this is the origin of birthright citizenship, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. But towards the end of the 19th century, it was expanded and applied to everyone. A Supreme Court case of a Chinese-American man claimed it, and it established universal birthright citizenship. And for President Trump, it is an important issue because it has been a thorn in his side, because children of so-called illegal immigrants are automatically U.S. citizens, and it makes it way harder to follow up on his agenda of deporting so-called illegals.
Right. Very tricky situation, clearly. What precedent does it set for future executive orders, given all this power that the President of the U.S. now has?
Well, to a certain degree, I think we haven't crossed the threshold because it very much it very much depends upon the Republican Congress. For instance, what happens during next year's midterm election will be crucial for our understanding and also the legal standing of executive power.
Right. Do you see the current legal battles around birthright citizenship as a symptom of, say, deeper constitutional crisis, or is it just a Trump thing?
I think this is one of his most important items. It is also the political item that has the highest support, his kind of deportation and migration agenda, not tariffs, not healthcare. So it's a very important political item for political mobilization. But I think other aspects hint towards a more political crisis, the dismissal of a free press, the dismissal of the judiciary, all of these things, and kind of the blindsided character of the legislative branch at the moment.
Right. Interesting days ahead. Sebastian Jobs, history professor at the John F. Kennedy Institute for North American Studies at the Freie Universität Berlin. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.